Hello everyone, welcome to another cast, week 10 again, in English with Strudel. We're going to cast Europe against Poland, and it's going to be a very exciting match. We're going to start off with two of the better players in the foreign scene who recently just played in BSL. Here we are again with Ziggy against Bonif, and accompanying me today is Strudel from Argentina.
Hey SeriOsity, hello everyone.
Okay. Looks like I have to raise you a little bit. And yeah, so today we're gonna cast Poland against Europe, and these are two of the strongest teams in Nation Wars. Let's jump right into game one. It's gonna be Ziki against Bonif.
Alright, let's do it.
Alright, looks like I have to adjust this. And we're good to go.
Alright, so we got Bonif, the black Protoss here in the bottom left. And Ziki, the blue Zerg, in the bottom right. We're an optimizer map. Ziki already is scouting in the wrong direction. So SeriOsity here, since you're the Protoss and Zerg player, I think you've mentioned it's not so perhaps so efficient to go for gateway first here as Protoss, or what do you think?
I think it's perfectly fine. The only thing is you can't cannon rush Zergs, so Forge is less likely, meaning that, or I should say, Hatchery first is more likely, and because of that, Gateway all of a sudden has a nice boost. But there's a couple differences in the openings Zergs can do. They can go 12 hatch or 11 hatch, trade off of one drone for a faster hatchery and faster pool, and oftentimes Zerg is just fine facing one gate. This is very aggressive from Bonif. You can see he's cutting a probe to get this gateway out exactly on 9.
Alright, and how comes into play the fact that there's like a semi-island expansion, and well, considering this time the players do not have that semi-island expansion between them, do you think they could get them rather early, or will the Zerg like take a more standard third in this map? What's the usual stuff?
I think this
CVP?
definitely benefits Protoss. They can take a very secure third via ground. Hydras can't bust that third. It's kind of like on Fighting Spirit, where another map where Protoss can take an easy third. But for Zerg, it doesn't really help him as much. Zerg doesn't want to take that middle third base. It makes it harder to attack. Zerg's production comes from a hatchery, so having one hatchery farther away from the action hurts a little bit. And here you have Bonif with the 1 gate pressure. Ziki doesn't see it with the Overlord, but will drone scout it.
Super nice micro here by Bonnet with his probe trying to deny the expansion. Finally, he had to pull away because his probe was about to die, but anyway, nice job. The hatchery was very slightly delayed, but you know, Starcraft is a game of seconds, so everything matters.
And here we have Bonif with that very low HP probe. Has to be careful keeping this alive as long as possible. And you see his Zealot already retreating because 6 slings is too much for 1 Zealot. And I'm interested in seeing where Ziggy actually decides to take his third base.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit concerned here. Yeah, he's pulling back his Zealots because, I mean, he hasn't made a Forge, he hasn't made a Nexus yet. These Zerglings, while they're not going to beat 2 Zealots, it's a bit risky that they could get into the main base and harass the probes. But alright, he decides not to dive in, and that will give Moneth just enough time to make these 3 Zealots that should be enough to close. But maybe rather not. Alright?
He has to be very careful here. Zerg doesn't want to make any more Zerglings, so they want to keep Protoss back, occupied. But every Zergling lost is another Zergling that has to be made. And unlike Protoss can make probes and Zealots at the same time. Zerg has to choose. And we see Ziki got enough gas for link speed, and he pulled off gas. And this is really useful. Link speed makes it harder for Protoss to eventually attack.
Alright. A considerable amount of Zealots has been made already, so I think the Zerg will actually need to make a bunch of links now. I'm expecting Bonnet to push out any moment.
Okay, so Ziki actually didn't pull off gas. He put back on. And he's going for lair. Bonif has 5 zealots, but again, he can't move out quite yet. He's waiting for that cannon to finish up.
Right, will he leave like zealots to block, or will he take everything out? What do you think? Okay, he's just leaving one.
He wants to see the link speed timing. That's very important here. And now he sees link speed, and now it's very risky for him to move out. He's gonna need to block or at least leave some pros behind. Links can run around. It's only 6 links, so one can do a good job there. Oh, looks like Ziki, nope, doesn't want to counter, doesn't want to commit those links. And you see back at home, Ziki made a ton of links.
Yeah, Bonnet just took the risk and left his cannon behind just alone. And we'll see the Zerglings are moving in to trap these zealots. And they got into quite a nice position. I mean, there's like a high ground there that the zealots could have hugged, but they decided to like be in the open ground, and the Zerglings just surrounded them quite easily.
Alright, and let's see back at home. Ziki is currently making that spire roughly at the same time as the Stargate, so that's good for Zerg. And you see Bonif worried about the counterattack. He's blocking off his wall. And unfortunately for Bonif, he didn't get a scout. He doesn't actually know that this is lair tech. He only saw the link speed. He's completely blind otherwise.
Yeah, but the Zerg, I mean, I don't think he's going to go for Mutas. To me, he's just going to make a couple of Scourges, because don't you make a second gas when you're planning to go like heavy Mutas?
Yeah, heavy mutas is second gas, but that's extremely rare. Sometimes you see 5 mutas and then switch into drones and hydras. Just mutas to have some map control before the Corsair numbers are built up. But this could be either that or just 5 hatch lair standard. We still don't know. We see Bonif already mining out the mineral patches as well. That is natural. And he's getting +1 Sers, already making some, and a second Stargate. So this is definitely something unique, not something you see on every map. And I think it's because air dominance on this map is very important. I wouldn't be surprised if this transitioned into Corsair and then Reaver.
Yep. So Bonnet probably just wants to be super sure to secure his third right above his natural. That's why he wants to build up a very high Corsair number, I suppose.
Yeah, and this is going to work wonderfully because Ziki is actually going mutas. I was not expecting this, but we see he already has some mutas in production, and Bonif is actually staying around. He might actually see those mutas pop. I'm not sure if he did. And look, third gas from Bonif being taken immediately, so he's using the map. First time, to be honest, in every Nation Wars match, I've never seen the gas taken on this map. So here we are, first time.
All right. Okay, here comes the mutas, and will he? Okay, he catches a Corsair. The Scourges connect.
Yeah, but Ziki should realize here the threat. There's 6, there's Stargates, and these mutas aren't gonna be able to do much. Unfortunately for Ziki, he can actually run away. The mutas have the same movement speed as the Corsairs. The best he can do is this: split them off, try to save as many as he can.
Yeah, unfortunately, he just saved 2. But did he notice it was actually 2 Stargates? I'm not sure if he scouted the bottom one.
That's actually very important, but by the number of Corsairs he saw. First he saw 1 at his base, and then by the time he got to Bonif base, there were already 3, and he killed 1, and then there were 5, so I think he's well aware. But it looks like he's only now making the first few Hydras.
Okay, Spore going up.
So yeah, he definitely knows with that Spore.
Yeah.
But this is enough.
Did those Scourges like not connect?
They didn't connect. Sometimes they get close enough to connect, but Scourge AI is pretty bad. And even with the Spore and the Hydras, the Corsairs with +1 just ignore all that and kill several Overlords. And let's see how Bonif is following this up.
Do you remember how many Corsairs you need to shot Scourges with +1 attack?
With +1, it's 5. So he definitely has more enough. He has 7. And is he still making more? He's still making more.
He did have 5 at the time those 2 Scourges attacked, so I guess that's why they didn't connect.
And we see Ziki only making Overlords because of that.
Yeah. He was supply blocked.
Oh, look
Okay,
at
and
this High
now
Templar at the front. Oh, very unfortunate. And Ziki with insane reaction, able to spot that High Templar spawning outside the wall and killed it immediately.
yeah,
That's high level play.
yeah, I didn't catch that unfortunately. I was watching Bonnet taking a third already.
Because you didn't spawn on the bottom right of the gateway, sometimes that actually backfires big time. So the High Templar spawn outside the wall and...
Ooh, that's a bunch of overlords being picked off. Oh,
That's 8 Corsairs. This is actually very menacing. Of course, there is a trade-off here. Investing this heavily in air means that Ziki has more time to build up a substantial army before Bonif can even attack. See, Bonif is only on 2 gateways, recently added a couple more, only now getting some ground army and his ground upgrades.
yeah, I guess he's just trying to buy time. Right, that's quite a interesting number of Hydras there. Okay, first storm does not do a whole lot. Let's see, doesn't still have quite enough energy for a second storm, but now here it comes, almost there.
I mean, Ziki
Anyway,
is fine to force some storms out. He's not very committed to this attack. As you can see, he left a lot of Hydras back at home because the Corsairs can always counter. Here they are countering, sniping off even more Overlords. Unfortunately for Bonif, he did lose the Forge. That was upgrading +1 attack, which is actually a very important upgrade. And this is a feature of this map. We see Bonif taking a third, and there's no way for Ziki to abuse that. He would have to get drop, but with the number of Corsairs in the air, drop is very risky, very unlikely to happen.
Yeah, anyway, Ziggy has got 5 expansions, 5 bases at the moment, so that pretty much equals the 3 bases from the Protoss at this point, I suppose.
Yeah, this is if Ziki can drone up these bases. We see he's droning up his 4th base now. 5th doesn't have any drones. Bonnet finally putting on some pressure, and Ziki's getting his first few lurkers out. Another feature of this map is how hard it actually is to hold the naturals as Zerg, because look at the concave that heads into that Zerg. Zerg, if they're contained, it's very hard for them to break out. So they don't really want to rely on defense at the natural. They want to have a lurker field a little bit further out.
Okay, Bonnet made a few dragoons that will help him fight the lurkers. I was hoping that he made some dragoons because he was going like full Zealot and High Templar. But anyway, the Zerg just decides to put his lurkers outside his main. He's not going for a contain.
More Overlords being attacked.
Yeah.
It's just being very annoying. And Ziki, while he has a very strong economy and a lot of production, he can't actually utilize it. He's spending all his minerals on Overlords, and it starts to add up.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
But, well,
very important
whenever-
upgrade I should mention is Bonif already has plus energy on his High Templars.
Anyway, whenever those 5 expansions from Ziki start to kick in, Zerg's going to have a really big amount of units. But here comes Bonnet with some pressure, picking off some Hydras. Alright, still... Did he get any High Templars with that Hydra flanking?
Looks like he got 1 High Templar, but look, these High Templars have almost 2 storms, all of them. And here comes Bonnet reinforcing, and he's reinforcing with this extra gas. He can produce so many High Templars. He has 4 gas currently. Well, I guess the bottom one in his main is depleted, but that's still an extra, what, 1/4 of a gas? Every little bit helps. Protoss, you never see Protoss floating gas like this.
It's funny like that the Protoss got +1 armor, but not +1 attack because the Forge got destroyed.
Yeah, he's about to have +1 attack as well, and we see the double Forge spinning. It's very good to get double upgrades because Hydra attack will be nullified by that 1 armor. And here we go. Bonif is setting up, and you see not that many lurkers, and it's very hard for Ziki to set up. He's gonna have to try to flank this with his army from his 4th base.
Bonnet seems to have a very healthy army in the sense that he's got a bunch of dragoons and and storms. So basically, uh, I guess that's kind of an anti-lurker army.
Yeah, and this is a very vulnerable moment for Ziki because he's going Hive. He invested in that Queen's Nest, invested in Hive, and he's switching into Zerglings. And Zerglings without any upgrades against 1/1 Protoss
Wow,
army. But this is a very nice lurker
that's a very
flank,
surround. Yeah.
and he just about beats Bonnet's army. Those spines.
And those Zergling reinforcements will just clear the whole Protoss army. And now Bonnet trying to take an expansion at 6 o'clock, but I'll guess Siki will find out about it very soon and will wipe it out. And I think at this point Bonnet is in a quite rough spot. I mean, he has all those High Templars there with barely any protection.
Ziki
Alright, I thought
has
there
to be careful here. He shouldn't be so aggressive. Bonnet still has a stronger standing army. Ziki can only rely on his production, but he needs his upgrades to catch up. These Zerglings, they want to engage when they have crack. And that is about complete. Do we see a Defiler Mound anywhere? Looks like no Defiler Mound quite yet. And both players macroing very well. Bonnet adding some Archons now finally. Archons will help with the Zergling transition.
The Father Mound being started now at 3 o'clock.
Curious position for it, but that's fine.
Alright, I was expecting Ziki to attack the 6 o'clock position.
Yeah, he
to
just
deny
scouted
but-
it now. A Ling that was sent there was able to scout it.
Oh, it just didn't even know about it. Alright.
Alright, so Ziki actually has a supply basically tied, but he's getting caught off guard a little bit. Okay, no. Burrow's just in time. How many High Templars is this? This is ridiculous. It's 8 High Templars. Well,
Yeah, I
Bonnet
suppose you can't even control it properly. That's way too many.
Right, but this is hard for Zerg too, because Ziki has to reposition his lurkers constantly, and he left them where Bonif was, but Bonif now heading towards Ziki's rally, and there's nothing here. And if he can get a position, this is going to be very hard for Ziki to come. Well, actually, it looks like the angle just changed for Bonif, trying to engage from a better angle. Here we go.
Yeah, Ziki doesn't even really have that many lurkers. I mean, compared to the amount of High Templars, there's like 1 High Templar per lurker.
Okay, I want you
very
to
good
notice
storm.
something. These Dragoons have 2 armor, and they have base 1 armor, so that's 3 total. The Lings do 5 per hit without any upgrades quite yet. So these Lings are only going to be hitting 2. This is very scary
right.
for...
That's quite bad.
Here we go. He's at the rally. How many? There's no lurkers here. Lurkers coming in to flank. Bonif has a ton of storms left over. Observer slightly out of position. Here we go. Oh,
very
massive
good storm there.
storms. Massive storms.
Very
The
good
lurkers
storm.
getting blanketed by storms.
Yeah.
Defilers
Spread of
coming out
lurkers.
just now. Consume is done, but there's no army left. No Nidus here either. Ziki can reinforce through the inside base, but it's going to take so long via ground. He really wants a Nidus here.
I think Ziki will survive this, but I mean, behind this, Bonnet is just banking up more minerals. Eventually, I think it's gonna break Ziki.
Yeah, Bonnet reinforcing wall, just pure Zealots coming in. These Zealots will help out with the Swarm. And there's still 1 High Templar, 2, 3 High Templars, 3 Storms left. And Bonnet doesn't really have to attack, he can just stay at the rally. Units will come in 1 at a time. Looks like he's pressing. He realizes there are no lurkers here, and he's breaking through.
As you
Ziki-
pointed out, I see the Zerglings doing just close to no damage, even though they have crack. Like they're just hitting stuff and not killing anything.
Yeah, so the 1 armor actually paying off big time. Well, the 2 armor now. And again, nice storms from Bonnet. He's utilizing the High Templars with Storm, and then immediately making Archon. Here comes another reinforcement of Zealots, and Ziki
GG.
taps out.
All right.
And with that, Poland gets the first point on the board. One thing I should mention is Bonif is currently undefeated in Nation Wars. He hasn't lost a single match yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought Ziki would. I mean, once he pushed out the first Protoss army, like when he's around the, he made the first round with the lurkers. I think that was a great move. After that, I thought that he would contain the Protoss or at least kill the 6 o'clock, but he didn't even realize about that. So even though he had 5 bases, the Protoss on 4 bases is, I guess, just superior. So yeah.
The extra gas that Bonif had also helped out a ton, and unfortunately for Ziki, I think I'm not sure if it's the feature of the map or just how difficult it is to hold large Dragoon mass. And as we saw, the Zergling upgrades were a little bit behind. It's kind of risky to go Hive so fast if you're and transitioning to Zerglings like that. But very well played by Bonif. And we're gonna go into game 2 now.
All right, let's do it.
All right, game 2. Map
right.
is Polypoid.
In the top right, we got Yeti, the blue Protoss. And in the bottom right, Ash Squall, the yellow Zerg. All right, Squall already scouting in the correct direction.
Yeah, he's scouting counterclockwise, which is the normal scout on Polypoid.
All right, so have you seen these guys play before? Do you think you can anticipate, like what their style is?
Yeah. Squaw likes 5-6 hatch Hydra and producing a ton of Hydras, and then attacking in the mid game. And Yeti looks like we're gonna see some one base play. I've seen him go one base Reaver. This could definitely be that.
That would be fun to watch.
Yeah, this is a build Bonif has also utilized, and Yeti, I've seen him do it as well. They go one base Reaver and then they follow up with Dragoon timing. So then they'll have one Reaver and maybe even 2 Reavers and several Dragoons attacking Zerg. And yep, it's going to be one base tech at least. We don't know if it's going to be Reaver or a Stargate, but we'll see. And Overpool from Squall. So very standard from Squall's part. Yeti is mixing it up.
Do you think Overpool is better than going 12 hatch in this situation where the Protoss is going for a gateway in his main?
No,
What
definitely want to go 12 hatch against basically anything that's one base. Even if it's 2 gate, you basically want to go 12 hatch. Simply because you get that extra production, and there's nothing for Protoss to punish when they go one base. Now, if the gateways are at the natural, 2 gateway at the natural, that's different because it's like, I don't know, 8 seconds faster that the Zealots arrive. And in the early game, those seconds are massive. But we see Yeti's getting scouted immediately, which is unfortunate for him because now Squall is going to know how to react accordingly.
So what are you supposed to do as Zerg if you see the Protoss is going for just one gate in the main?
Zerg can go 3 hatch Hydra against every opening from Protoss. They can also go 2 hatch Lair. Now if it's one base Ser, the 2 hatch Lair doesn't really work out. And if it's Reaver, 2 hatch Lair can also be risky because the Reaver actually hits before the mutas are out. But we see a second gas already taken. Are we going to see a third hatch being planted? It could be 2 hatch, but more likely is 3 hatch on 2 base. Making it at the 3rd base like normal is a little bit risky. Yeti moves out with the 2 Zealots, but retreats.
Alright, let's see if it'll go for a Robo or a Stargate perhaps, or Citadel.
Alright, the Cybernetics core is done, and there's the Robo. And now this is important because Robo is way less common. Stargate is more common, and Squall is predicting Stargate, so that's why you see the Overlord retreating. He doesn't want to lose this Overlord, but I think he should prioritize scouting and confirming the tech.
Alright.
And another thing I should mention is Yeti didn't go for the fastest tech possible. He actually went Zealot before core, then the core. So this is about 20 seconds difference of the Robo timing. And we do see 2 hatch Lair from Squall, and it got scouted by this probe that was out on the map.
So you say Yeti is likely to go for Reavers and then mass Dragoons.
Yeah, we see a second Dragoon being made, already not normal, and this is a dead giveaway. That's going to be Reaver and then a Dragoon timing. And it's going to be up against, I guess this is like 2.5 hatch Muta because we see a third hatch being added.
Hmm.
Yep, there's a Spire, and there's Yeti moving out. I like this Ling at the front by Squall. He's scouting the army movement.
Too bad the probe is not going up the ramp.
Okay, this is
Doesn't know what's
hilarious.
going on. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Now, you scout lair, you pretty much know it's 2H Muta, but look at this gas steal. Very cute by Yeti.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know about the third hatch, though. Or do you just...
Okay, third hatch, no, he doesn't know about it. Would also be important to scout. And there we see the second gas being thrown. Now, Sunkens are good to buy time, but they're useless against Reavers because Reavers have more range.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright, well, in the long run, I mean, you're not going to hold off Mutas from just one gateway goon.
Yo, I'm surprised Yeti didn't cut probes to get his gateway up faster, because now the second gateway is very slow. And what does he actually have other than the Reaver? 3 Zealots, 4 Dragoons, and now
Yeti
the
Reaver. is going to need to deal damage like right now, otherwise the Mutas are just going to plow through his base. Those goons are not going to be enough.
Alright, we see Squall, 5 Mutas in productions. This definitely... Oh, and the Lings are countering. This is the last thing you want to see as Protoss.
Yeah, very nice counter there.
I mean, he could target the Robo instantly. Well, it looks like he's going to harass the probes. Oh, he gets drilled, and the shuttle comes back.
That was a very nice hold there by Yeti. Very nice scarab.
Yeah, unfortunately for Yeti, his timing is not way thrown off. Not only did he get scouted, he actually got pulled all the way back. And Squall is banking up those Mutas. And now you might think Mutas are actually good against Dragoons, but they're terrible against Dragoons. What Mutas have is they have maneuverability, so they can counter. They can be where their Dragoons aren't. They can pick off stray Dragoons. But head to head, they lose. And oh, this is painful. He immediately finds that shuttle. Shuttle goes down. And now the Reaver goes down.
I mean, the second that Yeti decided to go back to face those links with his army, I mean, I think the game was decided there because he either had to like put pressure on the Zerg or just stay back, because here it was obvious that the Zerg would catch the Reaver in the middle of the road or catch reinforcements or go directly to the probes. It was unlikely that he would like engage the main army directly.
Yeah, and back at home, even if Yeti had attacked instead of this is not enough Dragoons. The economy for Protoss is completely gone, and the timing has evaporated.
Yeti down to 9 probes at the moment.
Yeah, not even mining gas. And how many Mutas are we up to? 7 Mutas? It's not that many Mutas, but it doesn't matter. Protoss is on 1 base, and they don't have any economy. Looks like Yeti wants to make Dragoons, but he really should try to end the game now. And here come the Mutas again.
Alright, I think this is a nail in the coffin. I mean, it's got even less probes than before. Down to 6 at the moment.
I mean, Squall is actually... I don't know what he's doing, because he's throwing away the Mutas to hurt the economy, which is already very much hurt. The only way Squall could lose if he lost all those Mutas, and yet he countered and had enough, but he's just too far ahead.
He has a bunch of links which are better than Mutas, I would say, that, versus Dragoons. So I guess it doesn't really matter about that Dragoon mass.
I mean, Yeti can't even produce now. He has to only make probes, and he's contained. This game is over. It's just a matter of Yeti typing the GG. But I will tell you, one base Reaver is like, you can't do it every game, but it definitely will catch Zergs off guard. And the interesting thing is you can go either timing off it or you can go expand. but unfortunately, his attack was just too slow. And
Yeah,
Squall scouted him instantly, and
considering that the first Overlord from Squall pulled away from the base, from Mittis' base, definitely he didn't know if he would go for Stargate, GG, or Robo. So yeah, definitely I suppose it has some potential. The fast river build.
again, that wasn't also the fastest Reaver, because you can get a Reaver if you go the same thing Yeti did, but instead of making a Zealot before the Cybernetics core, you just go straight off for that Cybernetics core. But Yeti wanted to play safe, especially because he got scouted first. I think that also affects your mindset. And it's 1-1 after 2 sets, and we're going to go into Desakwe against True Touch.
All right.
Alright, actually give me 1 second. Sorry, just 1 second.
Yeah, sure. All right. So we'll be going on Eclipse. Another PVC. Actually, all of our games, well, not all, but most are PVC. Then we got 2v2. Once again, PZ versus PZ. Then a PvP and PvT. All right. Well, at least I'll get one PvT since I'm a Terran player. Perhaps I cannot give such a good insight in CVP or PvP. And CVZ, well, it's kind of a very particular matchup. I mean, it's very down to the details, so it's quite harder for me to analyze. Even though I enjoy ZVZ very much, I think after TVT, obviously is a mirror matchup that I like the most because it's super intense, like from the very beginning till the end, and there's a lot of intense micro mind games, which you don't see that much in PvP.
Sorry, I had to leave abruptly, but I'm back.
All right, check your overlay.
So, alright, should be fine now. Let's go into game 3. Desakwe
Let's do it.
against True Touch on Eclipse.
All right, so we got True Tux, the white Zerg, let's call it white, in the top right. And Sakwe, the yellow Protoss, in the bottom left. All right, I'm excited. These guys are quite good. Seen them play before, and they're obviously very well known.
Yeah,
Are there
Desakwe.
any? Yeah, go ahead.
Desakwe, I'm surprised you know him because I didn't know Desakwe until recently. He just came back like earlier this year to play again, but I guess he was known several years ago before Remastered and was a high foreigner at that time.
Well, yeah. To be honest, I mean, I've seen him play rather recently. I don't know a lot of the names from the like before Remastered. I did know True Tracks, but not Sakwe. Anyway, they're both very good. So, do you have any remarks for PvC on this map? Like any particular thing that makes it different from the rest?
I think it's just normal map PVZ. The third isn't very easy to take. It's quite far, but it still has a ramp, so it's hard to counter. And for Zerg, they have a fourth base that's very open, and that means it's very dynamic in the mid game. It's not like Polyport. Polyport can be a very turtley map. Every base is on a high ground. Both sides can turtle and play defensively pretty effectively. On this map, because the fourth is so wide open with that huge ramp, and Protoss can attack several different positions, so can Zerg, we see more dynamic games.
Right, two attacks having to pull 2 drones to fend off the probe so he can throw it on the expansion.
Yeah, very annoying, but because it's a 2-player map, it's very easy for Zerg to just send that overlord out to scout. Doesn't have to
Yeah.
dedicate a drone to scout.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the Protoss has gone for Forge expansion first and then cannon.
Yeah, Nexus and then cannon because he scouted those overpool. And there's a timing where if you can make the cannon start as you see the links pop from the eggs, your cannon will be in time. So you can get away with Nexus first against overpool. But he does have to cut probes. You saw he cut probes on 13 and now he started making them again.
All
This
right.
is the standard opening.
Well, in this particular case, Protoss just made 2 Zerglings, so it hasn't really paid off. I mean, but anyways, we're transitioning into a very standard looking PVC. Does the Zerg always take that position as a third, or is there like any chance they can take the bottom expansions on this map, or do they just like go for the safer third every time?
That third makes way more sense in ZVP, but I think in ZVT, Zerg can actually take the bottom expansion. And
Yeah,
it's actually better because when Terran attacks,
yeah.
uh, they can't attack both bases at once if Zerg takes the
Mm-hmm.
bottom base. On this map, you can pressure the natural and the third almost simultaneously. And there's a moment where Zerg has to decide where to make lurkers. And Terran doesn't give away their position right away if you take this third in ZVT. But in ZVP, it's just much easier to take this one. You want to have your rallies all in one location in ZVP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lair and speed right after. So both players playing very standard.
Right, this Zerling will not die, so let's see if Sapwell decides to put some pressure with this one Zealot, or will he run back? That either way, Trotax is forced to make a few more links just in case this Zealot. Well, anyway, he decides to go back.
It's
Pretty
normal during that time
reasonable.
for Protoss to move out, and it's just to make Zerg make Zerglings. And Zergling responds, or Zerg responds with between 6 to 8 Zerglings just to defend, and again, all very standard. Looks like Disakwe's wall is something's wrong because there's a gap on the right side. Maybe his gateway is too high, I'm not sure.
Hmm. Well, I'm not familiar with walls here, so I cannot say.
Alright, Disakwe also doing something interesting. He's not getting +1 air. He's immediately going for that Citadel, and this is going to be a slightly faster speed lock timing.
All right.
Oh, Chuchach with a run by. Only 2 links get in, and this is funny. Disakwe not even respecting the threat, just immediately countering. Realizes Chuchach is going to have less links back at home. He will deal with the links with probes and just counter, but he does get scouted.
Well, he got 2 pros already with those 2 Zerglings, so that's quite good value. And look at that, all that mining time was.
Oh, this Cybernetics core is actually effective because it traps the Zerglings.
Yeah, but still he got a ridiculous amount. I mean, he got 3 pros with just 2 Zerglings, and one of them was red already. So that's a lot of damage.
Well, here we go, the 2 Zealots countering from the sideway, but True Touch did scout them. Well, that's a nice position for that 1 Zealot.
Yeah, very nice. Alright, Sakura with some very cool micro here. Splitting his Zealots. Right, one goes down.
Oh, there's still 1 left, but it's pretty low. And
Oh, that was a good. That was a very nice hold. Very nice micro by both players.
yeah, it looks like the Overlord at the top left got sniped, and I'm looking, and 2 Touch is very, very supply blocked. So even though the Zealots might have not killed much, the supply block is actually hurting a lot. Normally at this time, 6:30, you're already switching into Hydras. You have 30 drones, but because of supply block, we see True Touch is being held back. And it looks like another Overlord is going to be under threat. Because of the supply block also, True Touch couldn't make Scourge. So, very big hit. And what is Disakwe doing? Looks like 3 gateway speed lot. Oh man, look at True Touch's economy. It's very weak, but he's droning up now. He got these sunkens. I'm still a little bit
Yeah.
worried though, but
Now he's going for the 6 hatchery Hydra build. This is rather a recent thing, I suppose. Like before, the standard thing was going for 5 hatch. Now it's 6. What do you think? I mean, would be best here in this situation, considering the process is going for 3 gateways instead of going for an early Templar archives.
alright, so I think this is just the Sakwe actually forgot Zealot speed, so this Zealot attack is hitting so much later than it normally would. Normally it's at 7:30, but it would actually hit at 7:10, 7 minutes because of the Sakwe's Citadel time, but he forgot during all that action. And Chucho just has the perfect response with the Mutalisk. He's not making Hydras, he needs to drone up, and he needs map control, so these Mutalisks allow him to get that.
Yeah, you definitely made a good point about the drones. I mean, if you're going to have six hatcheries producing, you're definitely going to need your mineral lines to be very well saturated. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense to make 6 hatcheries.
And we see this is Muta's opening up, but Chuchach is already planning that transition. You see back at home, Hydra speed and +1 range attack are being researched. And because the Sagway actually lost all those zealots, now the Sagway doesn't have any form of map control, so Chuchach can drone up. He has time to switch to Hydras. And here are the Mutas. How many Corsairs? There are 4 Corsairs, but no +1, but tons of cannons here.
Yeah, I think Sakwa, overreacted with the amount of cannons. I think that was a little bit exaggerated.
Yeah, we see a lot of cannons and 2 Archons, which is not what you want to do against 6 hatch Hydra. Definitely don't want these Archons.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
Chuchach still droning up, actually. 42 drones.
Okay, just now I think he's going to start making Hydras. That's more than enough drones.
Yeah, you want anywhere between 40 and 45 drones when you're producing off 6 Hadris. But eventually you do take a 4th base. It looks like Chuchach is actually setting up to do that. And this is very greedy, but he did clean up those alts very easily. And the Sakwe is only now pushing out, and this is a very tiny army.
Yeah, those Archons are quite worthless versus mass Hydras. I think that was really a big mistake.
The mutas are being dealt with effectively, but again, it was only 6 mutalisks, and here we go. We're going to that 3rd base, but this is a very nice base to defend. Very easy to plug those Hydras on the ramp. Fourth is going to be denied though, so a small victory for the Sakwe.
Yeah, I think with this kind of build, I mean, you cannot really take a 4th so quickly. Like you have to spend a bunch of time building up your economy and then go into mass Hydras. I don't think you even have the money to spare for a 4th so quickly.
And Chucha's counter pressuring now with his Hydras. Where are the Sakwe's? Looks like he went all the way to top left. He has to be careful here. Storm is actually very delayed because he went 3 gate speed lot and then he made Archons. And it looks like these Archons are going to get picked off.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt Sakwe a lot. I mean, well, the Zealots are kind of disposable, but those Archons are super expensive.
Yeah, that's 600 gas being thrown away right there.
It hurts. And he doesn't have a whole lot at his base. I mean, even these Hydras here could break.
It's only
the
3
defenses
High
at macro.
Templars. But I doubt Chuchach might poke. He could actually suicide these mutas and snipe 1 High Templar. But he doesn't know the number of High Templars there are. So he still has to be careful. There we go. There's a muta diving in. 1 High Templar goes down. That's a very nice move. Oh, that's a very nice storm though. Clips a lot of the Hydras. They're all very weak. And it actually doesn't die. It looks like there's only 1 storm left. If True Touch presses here, he can definitely break, but it's not. Actually, looks like the Corsairs are countering, and this is what we saw in Ziki against Bonif. The Corsairs
Yeah.
actually gave Bonif a lot of life. In this scenario, it's just going to keep the Sakwe safe. It's going to keep True Touch occupied from attacking.
Yeah, these coursers are being super annoying now.
But this is so many Hydras from True Touch. Look at his rally, look at the front. Easily 4 control groups of Hydras.
Oh, what's a... Well, he barely saves those overlords. That would have been very bloody.
And
like 4 of
sneaky,
them.
very sneaky third base from the Sakwe. Oh, I was about to say sneaky, but unfortunately gets scouted right away. I think in PvZ it actually doesn't matter which third you take. Either third is perfectly fine. But if he takes this third, then the fourth is much easier to take.
I think the Zakwa is going to need some perfect storms thrown down here because basically he's only got 2 High Templars and he has to make them like really worth because this is a huge amount of Hydras. You cannot just beat that amount with just Zealots. So let's see. Alright, will he catch those Hydras at the ramp?
This would be a huge
Storm.
opportunity. Nice
Okay.
storm there. Yes, good
Well, he
pullback
pulled
on the
back.
Zealots. Don't want to
Yeah.
storm your own Zealots. And we see look at True Touch's supply. It's 120, which is impressive, but 167 because of all the overlords he had to remade. And that's actually giving the Sakwe some opportunity. Oh, he's getting countered, and if True Touch had pressed, there's nothing at this natural. Literally nothing. But he doesn't know that, of course. He's setting up some lurkers, but this is a very risky lurker morph, right where the army is. And look at the upgrades. The Sakwe actually has a big advantage. 2-1 versus 1-0.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed that he pulled off having that that third defended right in time. Anyway, he cannot transfer the probes at the moment.
And he might get flanked here. He's coming in. This is an awkward position to move out. But he is on a high ground. Now these Hydras from the low ground are attacking, but they're only hitting half the time. Still only have 2 storms, but that's a nice storm. The second storm only hits 2 or 3 Hydras. And while he does win this fight, he's so close to True Touch's rally, he's going to have to retreat here. Oh, another nice storm. How many storms? Oh, okay, that was the last storm there. And now the fight is...
Yeah, here comes the flanking. Well, that was a quite nice engagement by the Sakwa. I mean, he has to retreat right now. I mean, he took a victory here. Just go home. Go home, dude. Go home.
Okay, it looks like 3 Dragoons are straight off, not hockeyed. He does respond in time. And that was, yes, not dominating victory, but enough to push back True Touch. And we had 3 Zealots countering 12 o'clock. And they're not going to be able to kill the hatch, but they did kill some drones. And he's able to set up his third base now. So very nice army movement from the Sakwe.
Well, I'm quite impressed. I mean, he was Sakwa was really behind. He was about to be super hard contained at his main, but then he just pulled off this super well, let's say not sneaky, but super ninja third somehow, and then he was just in the right spot to fight off those Hydras on the high ground. And now we're going to a macro game. I was really not expecting this. So cool, very nice.
And we see True Touch with a ton of lurkers now, but look at his third gas. It's actually very late. You want to make that third gas when you start lurker research. We see he can actually afford to make lurkers and Hydras at the same time. He's a little bit short on gas. Here comes his Sakwe. He's attacking, but lurkers just in time, and it's kind of awkward to attack with only 1 High Templar. I'm looking. He finally made some more High Templars, but very low army count. And the Sakwe is adding so many cannons at this third base. This is not what you want to see. You want to see either more gateways or that 4th nexus.
Yeah, that indeed is a super high number of cannons. All right, here come the lurker reinforcements.
Alright, with Sunkens, lurkers are basically untouchable now. Lurker sunken defense. I was gonna say this base is harder to defend, but not when you set up like this. Zerg is very safe, secure there. And transitioning into Zerglings now, going Hive. We saw this was the moment where Ziki was most vulnerable, but a couple scenarios are different here. We had all these cannons. Bonif made what? I think Bonif made 3 cannons in his game against Ziki. And we only now see that 4th base from the Sakwe. But he does have one thing in his advantage. Look at the upgrades. Zerg, Zergling 0-0, Hydras are 2 weapons. Protoss is on 3-2.
I'd like to see Sakwe attempt to take the 4 o'clock base. Okay, here comes some Zerglings to check it out. I think definitely Trutak smells that that could be a base that the Protoss could be taking soon.
And here's a very important moment in PvZ when Protoss is main and natural mine out. You see the Sakwe almost doesn't have anything. Chuchach is still on 4 bases. All his 4 bases have minerals for at least a few more minutes. And the Sakwe is on 1 base until his 4th finishes. So every fight has to be very cost efficient for the Sakwe. He has to take good fights. He doesn't have the economy that Chuchach has. Even though it looks like he has 4 bases, he really only has 2 on minerals.
Alright, so I'm getting a little bit worried here about Trutax. Basically, both players are on 4 bases. Well, now Trutax is taking a 5th, but I think Trutax will need to do some kind of breakthrough. Now his own 4th is being attacked. Very good storm there, picking off two lurkers with it. That's a bunch of Protoss units, and the Zerglings keep running into the storm. And
But-
another great storm!
But watch from behind.
no,
This is actually going to be a flank. And there's no Zealots left. It's only Dragoons. There's 1 storm left. And here comes a flank. Flanking Hydras and Zerglings. Lurkers on burrowing and moving forward.
Yes, and a nice flank.
And the key here was the Sakwe move too far forward with his Zealots. It looked so good when he was storming the incoming Zerg. But unfortunately, as Protoss, you don't want to commit your Zealots until the Lurkers are gone. You want to keep them hold position, basically hugging your Dragoons, but not moving forward. And the Sakwe loses that fight. And let's see who can reinforce. I like this. These 2 DTs at bottom right actually kill Trutouch's 5th. So at least for a little bit, they're on equal bases. The real problem here is that the Sakwe lost his army, and now Zerg can expand freely.
Yeah,
See,
now
Zerg.
Zerg is taking the 10 o'clock position.
Alright, top left being taken. And let's look at the upgrades. Trutouch is trying to catch up. The Sakwe is going to be very powerful. He's going to have 3 armor, weapons, and 1 shield. And Trutouch double expanding. This is what you do when you have Hive. You can take 2 bases. Even if you lose 1, Protoss can't kill the other one.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, I think Trutax can. I mean, he has options. He can hit. I mean, he can control the left side of the map, or instead try to commit more forces to the right. But definitely, he's going for the left-hand side of the map. Will he try to put some pressure on the Protoss base? No, he doesn't. Just
Was
wants
able
to
to
take
kill
his
a
top
probe.
expansion.
A probe that was going to take that base on, I guess this is like 10 o'clock. So he was able to kill that probe that was there, and he's setting up top left, and 5 base against 4 base Protoss is actually very good for Zerg when there's Hive involved. Hive makes Zerg units much more effective. We still don't see a Defiler mound, but Crackling is a very good upgrade. And I'm just waiting for the next, the Sakwe's next move here. Looks like he wants to take 5 o'clock. And if he can take 5 o'clock and 10 o'clock, then all of a sudden he wins the game. Trutouch just doesn't have enough bases, but Trutouch countering with Lings, heading towards 5 o'clock.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think Trutax is going to let the Protoss take both bases. Perhaps one, but both of them, I don't think so.
The problem is the Sakwe really can't attack. It's going to be very hard for him to attack. So he needs to set up some bases. And will he have enough time? Looks like another counter. This base is very far away. Looks like the Sakwe wants to attack, and this is going to be a disaster. You can't go down that small road.
Yeah, well, but at least he has secured.
High Templars, what are they doing? 3 High Templars at top left got picked off. And the problem here is the Sakwe really should expand where his army is, right? So he doesn't get countered. He should either expand at 10 o'clock or attack via the middle of the map and take bottom right. He can't split off his army and try to do 2 things at once. Zerg is just too fast.
I'm really astonished that he pulled away with his army and go where really he should have stayed there at 9 o'clock. Now the Zerg got that position, and now the expansion is denied. I don't understand why he did that.
Yeah, he's just moving his army across the map, but it's not accomplishing anything. And
I
there
mean,
we
he had
finally
his units
see.
in the perfect position to take 9 o'clock, and he just gave it away for no reason.
And now True just wants to establish his high ground. You see the lurkers on Burrow from top left and are now
Yeah.
here. And here we go. Here's the fight. Very nice storm there. This, whoa! This is 9 observers. I think this is,
No Zerg fleet. You don't see that every day.
okay, late storms here. Even though he's going to win this fight, he did take a lot more damage. It was only 5 lurkers. Yeah, I never see this many observers. Usually you'll have like 4, and then you have some spotting in the middle of the map. You know, spot counter, spot army movement. But 9 with the army. Is he even making more? It looks like, okay, he's not making more at least, but that is so many observers. That's a lot of gas.
Yeah, for sure. But well, at least now Sakwa is securing this. Oh, but look at that flank. The Zerg is flanking from
Right.
3 positions.
Here we go. Lurker Spine's going off on some of the army. The Dragoons are undefended now. It's only Dragoons. The High Templar reinforcement arriving just a little bit late. Full surround on those Dragoons.
Very nice lurkers around. I mean, look at the amount of lurkers that are just freaking everywhere. Wow. Very good flank by Trutox.
Now
Really
we
very,
see
very good flank.
Zerg's production is kicking in. We see a ton of hatcheries, making units, making Zerglings. Now it's just one false step and he got overwhelmed, and now things are falling apart for Dusakwe. And I'm actually, unfortunately, I wanted to see what happens if this map splits and Zerg gets top left. Who actually
GG.
wins from that position where Zerg has only one more base than Protoss? Who wins?
Yeah, unfortunately, the Sakwa took a really, really long time to start his base at 9 o'clock position. I thought he would take a probe there immediately as soon as he got that high ground position. I'll be back in just 1 minute.
Alright, I'm I mean, that was a very back and forth game. I actually think Dusakwe had an opportunity to win. He took a very good fight in the middle of the map, and then he just didn't establish a 5th base later on. In PvZ, you want to send your army and then set up a base at the same time. If you're getting countered, it's because your army isn't anywhere nearby, or it's not putting any pressure on Zerg. And things went south very quickly. Once Zerg gets Hive, it's very hard for Protoss to effectively stabilize. That's why it's so hard on a map like CB, where there are so many bases, so many mineral bases specifically, and just well played by True Touch. Oh, what happened here? Why does this... Oh, there we go.
Alright.
Looks like the overlay, I messed it up again, but we're fine now. Alright, let's... Let's go into the 2v2. Let's switch the color so it's blue-red.
Yeah. Alright. So we got in the top position CRVT along with Siki in the bottom position versus Bonneth in the 8 o'clock position. Protoss player and Trutox Zerg at 2 o'clock.
Map is Python and ZP. It's going to be very fast, very dynamic. Lots of blood early on. We have the the European teams talking about what to do, and I think it's because True Touch and Bonif are actually one of the strongest 2v2 teams. Not only are they good 1v1 players, they're also good 2v2 players. Not the same thing always. It doesn't automatically mean a player is good at 2v2 because they're good at 1v1. Knowledge is a large part of 2v2.
Yeah. Absolutely. Alright, I'm really expecting standard tier 1 battles, like just Zealots and Zerglings early on. I mean, you can go for Zerglings and Dragoons, but it's quite uncommon in CP versus CP. Normally, you do a 12 pull. I'm not expecting. Well, here, Two Tax went for an overpull, if I'm not mistaken.
No, both players going for 12 pull.
Was it 12 pull? All right.
The only difference is Ziki went for gas immediately, and True Touch is gonna get that second hatchery. Oh no, looks like he just went for an extra drone and then gas. And double gateway from both Protoss, completely standard.
All right. Yeah, you usually don't make 9 pull. In CP versus CP, you need to have the additional economy. Like, doesn't make a lot of sense going for early aggression nor for super fast Mutalisks. So that's why you see normally an early battle with just Zerglings and Zealots.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's not like ZP against ZVT, where the ZT team doesn't have a ton of army early on, and the ZP team, the Zerg can go for one hatch layer. This is completely different. They are going to be facing a lot of Zerglings and 2 gates, so it's risky to go one hatch. That's why we see double 12 pool. And we have Zergling speed about to be started for Ziki, and also True Touch. So everything at the same time, basically. And Bonif is already attacking Ziki, but he has to be careful. He doesn't want to attack without True Touch. And here we go.
Right,
Bonif is actually very
bas-
bold. It's all fighting anyway.
Here, basically, what you want to do is to abuse the ramp of the Zerg player. Basically, you want to park your Zealots at the ramp of the Zerg opponent. That's basically what these guys are going to be trying to do here. Just win the battle in the center of the map and just lock down the Zerg. Because once you do it, it's super inefficient to break out with just Zerglings.
Yeah, we have CRVT countering Bonif, and this is a huge mistake. He's going to leave his ally to defend 2 players, and Bonif is going to have enough. Okay, looks like the Zealots are actually retreating. He's only going to have 2 and then a couple more, but
Bond is being hit at his base really hard with 3 Zealots. A lot of probes going down, really. This is a lot of economical damage. And since there were no Zealots defending, it's not just the probes dying, but also they're attacking the Zealots, so that's a lot of mining time lost.
yeah, but we have Bonif Zealot still alive, and now it's, well, it actually goes down. Ziki is trying to hold off. Very nice sunken position, good drill. He only loses a few more drones, but he loses all his Zerglings. He hasn't been mining very much, and
Yeah, very
problem
nice
is
hold
here
there by
is that now the Polish team has complete map control. You see CRVT trying to pressure, but if True Touch ever diverts his attention and hits with Bonif, CRVT would be in big trouble. We see True Touch actually wasn't mining any gas at all during that time. Neither is Ziki. Just both players committed to tier 1 units.
Yeah, so we got now Ziki being contained.
And CRVT, let's see. Even though Bonif has way worse economy than CRVT, he still has the same amount of production. So it's not like CRVT. Sometimes you see Protoss, instead of getting a gas, they get that 3rd gateway. But CRVT is just going up in tech. He is getting a 3rd gateway now, but he's still only making Zealots. Maybe he can make 1 Dragoon to kill that Overlord, but he does have an advantage.
I would say in general that I mean, both teams are more or less in the same position. Like, one of the Zergs is more powerful than the opponent, but with the Protosses is the same. So more or less they're even at this point. I won't put any of them on the lead, really.
Okay, and I see something I don't like at all. I see CRVT making Dragoons, and the Dragoon transition is not very effective in this matchup at all. They take longer to build in Zealots, and they're actually very bad against Zerglings. They are more maneuverable, you can micro them, but you don't want Dragoons. You want speed lots.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange. I agree, but considering he got he got Bonnet locked down, perhaps like the Dragoons alone are super bad, but combined with that amount of zealots, I think it's reasonably uh, a reasonably good combination.
All right, we have Bonif finally able to break from his ramp because CRVT had to deal with a counter, and now his Dragoons got killed by Zerglings. And let's look at the Zergs. Looks like Ziki's still behind a couple drones. True Touch Aspire is a little bit faster. And he's having a tough time. He's also going to lose his Overlord. He's supply block down. And Bonif is going for DTs. And this is another option. Going for Citadel allows him. He's going to get this DT tech. And do we have an Overlord? Looks like we finally have an Overlord arriving at CRVT's base. But the map control the DT will give Team Poland is actually huge. So all these Dragoons, while they're strong, they can't be out on the map.
Yeah, I really doubt Bonnet will make DTs at this point. I think he's just going to make Archons and Speed Zealots. But we're about to find out. Okay, some skirmishes going on in the middle of the map, but still, I would say it's the blue team who has map control. All done by CRVT, obviously. Okay, now Ziki trying to break free from his base. He will do it just now. Okay, let's see what the blue team decides to do now. Will they... Okay, Bonnet is once again thrown back to his base. And indeed, he's making one Dark Templar. That will help him break out.
You see he's also getting solid speed. And here come the mutas from True Touch. Already 70 mutas right off the bat, and there's nothing to defend in CRVT's base. They really want to kill Bonnet.
Yeah.
And you know what? If it wasn't for this DT, or if maybe they had kept that Overlord alive, I think Bonif just dies here, and then even this muta counter, even though it kills all the probes, it's still 2v1. But unfortunately, 1 DT, hold position on the ramp, and that's all he needs. And now here the mutas from True Touch weakening the economy of CRVT, and now we see the worker advantage for Bonif is actually massive compared to his ally.
Yeah, those are Templars in the end were super important. I don't know if he was actually planning to make them, but anyway. Good comeback, I would say.
Yeah, now Bonif moving out with that DT, and he's going up to 5 gateways. This is very acute. You see this in 2v2, they just stay on one base a long time, but completely standard. And True Touch, I guess the key here is he's always going to have the upgrade advantage, or the muta advantage over Ziki now. It's very hard to come back in that sense. But he is being countered by Dragoons, and his mutas are way out of position, and no DT from Bonif. Looks like the DT arriving just now. And Ziki...
Well, Trujax is losing a bunch of drones. I mean, he should have pulled them. I see.
Yeah, he's busy. He's microing. He's microing at Ziki. It's 4 mutas against 6.
Yeah. He's just got two drones at his base. That's all he got.
DT again, hold position on the ramp. Unfortunately, Ziki, I think, just falls here. If Ziki were to stay alive, maybe they could come back, because Street Touch's economy, he doesn't have any. He only has 3 drones. It's 5 mutas. Ziki, unfortunately, just doesn't have any gas, and the Dragoons can't go out on the map because there's DTs. Bonif can hold position at Ziki's ramp, for example, or even kill the Dragoons as they go across the map. Thanks, Worldsoft. Right. Thanks for joining in.
Well, it's all up to CRVT, but at this point, he lost way too many pros to those mutas harassing. He's
I,
rushing for a robo now. This is his only way. Alright, he just tapped out. GG.
yeah, I think if True Touch had been left with maybe 0 drones, it's still way in favor of Poland because 1v2 is
Yeah.
basically impossible, no matter how weak the one of the two is. But that was
Yeah.
actually very back and forth. I'm surprised by the outcome. Not that the Polish team won, but how they won.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really close game. Anyone could have won it.
Alright, so we're gonna go into CRVT against Venom, a PvP, first PvP. And the map, what's the map? Fighting Spirit. Alright, let me make that.
Alright. Hello, Warsaw. Welcome.
Should add that on Tuesday. It's going to be a Spanish cast. It's going to be Ultra casting Bolivia against Sweden and let's see if I can remember Russia against Germany.
Nice. Alright, we got Venom in the top right, our blue Protoss. And we see once again CRVT in the bottom left, the red Protoss of the people.
All right. The score is currently 3-1 Poland. So Europe has to win this and the next set to get to a potential ace. CRVT, from what I know, very strong standard player, favors macro over cheese. And Venom, I don't know much about Venom, unfortunately.
Well, I liked the decision CRVT took in the 2v2. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything in a 1v1, but in general, I think I'm expecting a good game out of him here. And Venom, I might have seen him play before, but I don't actually remember his style, so I don't know what to expect. We'll see.
So how is Argentina doing in Division B?
Well, pretty good. I mean, we're playing the playoffs for sure, pretty much, I would say. So I'm quite happy with that. I've been playing Starcraft for like a long time, really long time, around 12 or 15 years. I don't remember now. And this is the first time I'm playing National Wars, so I'm excited. This has been a quite nice tournament or league. I don't know how to call it.
Clan League, I guess. It's more.
Yeah, clan league.
Yeah, participating. This is the second time Nation Wars. Last time I don't think Argentina had enough players, but just enough this time around.
Yeah.
A couple of results from the first season. Poland actually won. They only lost once in the entire season, and this season they're currently undefeated. So no surprise there. Poland, very strong team. And here we have both players going one gate tech, very standard.
All right, Venom messing up a little bit with his probes. You shouldn't be doing that. Just
Yeah, it's just one probe.
waste of mining time.
Oh yeah, Father in the chat. Father is from USAB, and USAB is actually currently first place in Division B, and they're on a streak, I think 4 weeks in a row, where they won 6-0.
Yeah, they got a pretty strong team, USAB.
And both players just playing. I think this is mirror builds. The only difference is that CRVT got the scout faster, and he's distracted Venom a little bit.
Yeah, Venom lost some time microing with his probes.
All right, now this is key in PvP. We see that Venom didn't get the scout, so he only sees the one Zella, and now he's gonna see a one Dragoon. Actually, this is very smart from CRVT. He's hiding the Dragoon, so he's gonna give away no information at all. And This is very important in PvP to give away as little information as possible. So now the only option Venom has is to go 1-gate robo. And CRVT should know that, and let's see how he responds. Looks like he's gonna go 1-rate robo himself.
Or he could just go for 3 gateways. All right, he doesn't. He could just gone all in, but that's not the case.
No, looks like mirror builds again. They are cross map, so attacks are gonna be a little bit harder to execute. And CRVT has 1 probe advantage after all that. I mean, not a big deal.
Yeah, but you know, basically, sometimes if you just do the unexpected, it might just work.
I mean, we did see that yesterday where Boa against, I think it was PG Tour. Boa got the scout, and that information actually backfired because his opponent pivoted immediately and used the information Boa acquired against him. So in this matchup, which is, I actually think PvP is way more build order, like advantage oriented than ZVZ, because it's harder to come back in PvP, at least until Reavers are out. Like a DT ends the game basically. A DT ends the game more often than not than like going 12 hatch against 9 pool does. So
right.
We see both players going 1-gate observer. This is like the safest cookie cutter build, and then a Reaver right after. So this is heading towards a macro game, no aggression from either side. We even see Venom setting up to take an expansion, and this is perfect. Cross map does give you more time to defend from attacks, and we see CRVT also going for an expansion. One difference here, CRVT getting Reaver first.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. CRVT just skipped the observer. Alright, this is pretty much as mirror as you can get.
One thing I recently discovered, I don't know if you knew about this all along, but in the top left there's this tab of production. And I never used it observing, and I never used it casting, but it's really helpful. We see how far along everything is, what upgrades they're getting, what units.
Yeah, well, the times I've casted tournaments, I just disable that and the bar in the bottom right. I think they're just annoying.
How do I disable the bottom right one?
It's just a matter of tastes.
I want to disable this one in the bottom right, but I don't know how.
I don't remember the key. I do know that A removes everything just in case you need to. Like,
I always like having the minimap. Minimap is how I move around the map. And here we go, CRT getting that observer now out. He is scouting with it. And I think his build is just a little bit better, getting the faster Reaver out. But it's not going to affect anything. They're both going for Reavers anyway. Oh, we have a difference here. We finally have a difference. We have CRVT going for 3 gateway follow-up. And we have Venom going for shuttle and shuttle speed. And shuttle speed is sneakily a very expensive upgrade. It costs 200. So it's a massive investment.
Yeah, basically he's relying on a couple of scarabs connecting with the probes. I suppose he's going to go for a very early probe harass.
And we have CRVT scouting. Finally, he sees the natural. And this is a cool trick. You click the minerals to see how much has been mined, and that lets you know when they took their expansion. And CRVT probably did that to his minerals as well, and he'll realize they took it at the same time.
Alright. I never thought of that, really.
I didn't either until I saw, I think it was Shuttle playing, and I saw Shuttle do it, and it immediately clicked. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I like the pylon positioning from CRVT. He has a nice perimeter in his main.
Will that pylon block a scarab?
I'm not sure. Usually the Reaver AI is very dumb. So if you land behind the minerals, it's almost never going to connect. It depends on where you target. Here we go. Here's the shuttle arriving just in time. And
we're about to find out if that pylon works. It went the other way.
Yeah, you see, it doesn't. You never want to land the Reaver behind the minerals because it's never gonna hit. You want to land it touching the minerals so they can shoot through, or where the pros are. But it's a little bit riskier that way. And we have CRT moving out. He has 2 Reavers. He's got to be careful with this the shuttle leading. You never want to see that. And we have Venom.
Yeah, he's all over the
Preparing.
place with his Dragoon's Venom. He should pull back those 3 he wants. Okay, he just now realized that he's pulling them back.
Yeah, you see he wants that observer that's like right below his main, but that's a lot of Dragoons to dedicate. And looks like Venom actually got supply blocked again. He's on 4 gateways. Okay, this is everything. The Reaver Scarabs. Let's see who has better Reaver control. Oh,
Well, GRVT decides to just pull back, or actually no. Oh, okay, Venom took a lot of damage there on his Reavers. Actually, one goes down. Okay, second wave of Scarabs. Oh. Well,
okay. So the Reavers have been killed, but he sacrificed a lot of Dragoons for that.
yeah, well, all in all, I would say the result was quite even for both.
Now that's a nice trade for CRVT initially, but then his Dragoons were way back and the shuttle was very exposed. And of course, he didn't have shuttle speed, which is very useful in microing Reavers as well. Not only is it good for harass, it's also good for just general micro.
I think it's very likely that CRVT will be taking a third now,
He's actually
considering he
going
has
up.
map control.
He's going up to 8 gateways, so he's containing. He's gonna contain here, but he always has the option for that third base. Switching into Speed Zealots. Is he gonna make more Reavers? Yeah, looks like he is. So very, very invested in this contain.
I think that would make more sense, like going for extra gateways for Venom, since he's the player that has to like break out of his base.
Yeah, but
But
he's not.
RVT, I think it would make a lot more sense to have made an expansion, but we'll see. Well, Venom is actually the one taking the expansion, but it's going to be denied very easily.
And he also scouts that that shuttle, and that did allow him to actually break out. But now he has to be careful because he doesn't have the same army size, and his Reavers aren't here to help. He has to pick up his Reavers and bring them over. Well, this is gonna be. He's getting caught off guard
Oh,
here.
nice round.
And even though he's gonna be able to retreat, look how much damage his units are taking.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage on Venom's Dragoons. Well, he managed to get most of them back. I thought that would be quite bloodier, but he's still in a relatively good spot. Venom is not out of the game by any means.
CRT taking that third now. Like you said, he has a full contain. Looks like some of his gateways aren't rallied.
Okay, we got no upgrades so far for either players.
Upgrades aren't super important in PvP because Splash is much more effective, so you want to prioritize Reavers or Storm. The upgrades don't help as much in this matchup.
Right.
CRVT retreating to pick up a second Reaver, and this is actually a moment where Venom can attack. CRVT went all the way back to pick up a Reaver, and he has 3 Reavers of his own, but he has to go now before this contain gets even stronger. Looks like he wanted to take top left. That got denied.
Yeah, well, Venom actually has no idea of what's going on the other side of the bridge.
This is a very nice arc. It's going to be hard for Venom to break out.
Okay, now he's deciding to scout with those 4 zealots. Okay, now getting into position. I think he's got a good angle for breaking out.
CRVT landing his Reavers, and here comes the rest of his Dragoons. He has a nice concave here, minimizing the splash from the Reavers.
Oh, amazing concave from CRVT. I think at this point is much better than Venom's.
You even have a pylon made at the front, and Looks like CRT is winning, but just barely. But the concave is too strong.
Yeah.
And we see, look at Venom's
Venom got
rally.
crushed. Absolutely, yeah.
Venom rally never brought the units over, and
All right,
with that,
GG.
GG. So that's 2 points for Europe.
All right.
Sorry. We're gonna go to the first Terran matchup of the day.
Cool.
One thing I've noticed is that, at least in Division A, there's almost no Terrans. It's gonna be Quark against Koget. And this is actually a pretty interesting matchup.
That's going to be a very nice game for sure.
Alright, let's go.
Alright, I'm changing the colors here because this is ridiculous. They're both the same colors. So we got in the top position, in case you change the colors,
Yeah.
Magenta Protoss, Quark. And in the 8 o'clock position, Koget, Red Terran. Alright, Quark, I played like 6 games in a row versus him recently, or even more, I think. And he went for 12 Nexus almost every game. So I am very much expecting him to go 12 Nexus here.
Yes, I am as well. Quark has this specialized PvT build where he goes 12 Nexus, but it's actually not an economic build because he cuts probes to get fast Dragoons out. And that catches a lot of Terrans off guard. And now I would say this is actually good it would be good against Koget, but Koget has played Quark a ton. And specifically against that build where Koget said, I don't think that build is any good at all. And so after he wrote that, Quark was like, okay, let's play. They played, and Koget won. So he's very familiar with that build, and Koget's actually doing something a little bit unique. He's going for 10-10-10. See that Bragg's at 10. And there's the gas. So this is interesting. He's going to have faster factory.
I'm not very familiar with this build.
Oh, this build was very popular maybe, I don't know, 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago. Flash did it where he has a guide on it where you go 10-10-10 like this to get a faster, strong FD. So that's the FD with 2 tanks. And for a while, it absolutely crushed 1 gate expansions. But because he's also getting a faster factory, it does make the Vulture faster against a bunker with a bunker rush. So maybe that's why he's doing it. Maybe he knows Quark is going to 12 next and he wants to bunker rush. So he wants that faster yeah, look at this factory going down at 14 supply. That's very fast.
That absolutely makes a lot of sense, all what you're saying. I'm the kind of Sharon that goes for bunker rush as well versus Nexus first. But yeah, definitely having that earlier Vulture, earlier than the normal timing, is going to help a lot. That basically means not only that the bunker rush is going to be successful, 100% for sure, but it also means that you have to pull less probes, less SCVs.
And how did your bunker rushes do against Quark's 12 knights?
Well, like I said, we played a lot of games, and most of the times it was successful. But that not necessarily means that I win the game. I mean, I'm able to destroy the Nexus, but then what matters here is how many probes you kill. So killing the Nexus is not the game ender at all.
We see Quark actually isn't making any more probes. He stopped really early the probe production. He has 9 in the main, 3 on gas, and 3 at the natural, and no more probes. So he got the second gateway up really fast. He's getting range already. And
well, he's not going to have enough money for making a battery or anything of the sort.
And here comes the bunker rush. SCVs being pulled. Now, Koget's actually going for an add-on after just one vulture. Is that normal?
6, okay, 7 SCVs in total. That, as I was saying, that's quite little. I usually take 9 SCVs. I mean 8 plus the 1 scouting. So we see 2 less SCVs here. Makes sense, absolutely. Okay, let's see the micro. Okay, so far very good for Koget. Those Zealot took a lot of damage already before even starting getting involved in the fight itself.
Okay, only Dragoons left over now. Vulture's very low, only 1 HP.
And I think Quark is just giving up the Nexus. I mean, he's barely fighting with the probes.
And that bunker is almost done, but the SCV is actually very low, only 15 health, 5 health, gets killed by a probe, almost complete, doesn't complete.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
And this looks like a hold, but Quark lose a ton of probes. I still think that's very good for Quark, though. You don't lose the Nexus. Protoss.
Well, I think he didn't lose that many probes. The thing is, he didn't have that many probes from the very beginning because, as you said, he skipped probes. So basically, he's still quite low in probes. So yeah, I would put Quark slightly on the lead, but this is absolutely winnable for Koget, in my opinion.
Alright, Koget did commit a large number of SCVs as well, but not as many as is normal. And now we have Quark transitioning. He's getting a robo pretty fast, and he's remaking probes. And Koget, he knows he has to defend somehow, and he's going to defend via mines. And this is a good option. It's going to make it so that he has enough time to get his unit count up. And he's actually making a starport really fast.
I'm pretty sure Quark is going to go for a strong push afterwards. I mean, he's not going to. Well, at least that was what he did against me. I don't think he's going to go for arbiters or reavers or anything of the sort. It's just, yeah, there we go. For gateways, he's going into full gateway man.
And
because
he's cutting probes again.
As the Terran loses so many SCVs early on with the rush, even though you have your natural expansion up, you don't have enough SCVs to build up like enough units to defend a hard push with just gateway units.
Yeah, we see 4 Zealots being made, a shuttle as well, so it's going to be some kind of bulldog. You have an observatory being made, but only after the shuttle. And Koget is only now getting his natural setup. We still don't see a single tank, first tank being made now. I think Koget, he might be able to sniff this out, and he's really going to need a bunker to hold an incoming attack. I don't think he spotted that shuttle. I don't think he spotted that shuttle. That would have been huge.
At this point, considering that Koget went for a drop, Wraith, he's just not going to have enough units. I mean, it's impossible. If he had like skipped the starport, he would be fine. He would have enough minerals to make a decent defense at the natural, but at this point, too many gateways, no tank. I mean, just one tank. It's almost impossible that he will survive.
All right, so we see Koget has a big worker lead. That's because Quark, to get up these 4 gateways and the shuttle, he cut probes. He stayed on 24 probes this entire time. And Koget now is researching siege. He's actually making marines. He's going to need this marine. I think he's going to make a bunker. I don't think he realizes the threat quite yet. He has an option with these vultures to counter. Like if Quark really commits with the attack, he's leaving himself open to a counter. But we see...
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Okay, we see the barracks being lifted to reposition, but this is no marines being made now. And here comes the shuttle. And I like this shuttle movement from Quark. He's basically hid the shuttle in the top left. He's only going to reveal it now. Here come the vultures countering. Here comes the attack.
Yeah, very nice counter with those vultures, as you said earlier.
Oh, man. All Koget has to do here is hold.
It's just too many Dragoons. Way too many.
Tanks.
Oh, and those Zealots. Yeah.
Oh.
a ridiculous amount of Protoss units.
I mean, Quark has single-digit worker count, but it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been in exactly the same position Koget is right now. Exactly the same.
Yeah, so Protoss has no economy, but it doesn't matter because Koget is
Yeah.
dead. Just too many Dragoons, too
GG.
many Zealots, and well played by Quark. I liked the shuttle movement most of all. He hid that in the top left. He only revealed it when it was time to attack, and well played, GG.
Hello, Ivanyok.
It says Quark is S and Koget is doing well as always. Yeah, that's true. Koget, very strong player. Maybe the strongest player in the foreign scene, or Terran player outside of Peru. And Quark, very underrated. You look at the APM and you wonder how strong he could be, but he's actually a very strong player, very smart player.
Yeah, his APM is really ridiculously low.
Alright, we have an ace match, and if anyone wants to guess who it is, please go ahead. Who do you think it is? I already know, unfortunately.
Well, I would say once again Koget versus Quark.
That's a pretty good prediction. Alright, Europe has a couple options. They have Ziki, they have Eon Zerg, who didn't play. The Sockway also a strong player, maybe not as strong as the other two, but definitely options. And Poland has Bonif, True Touch, Koget. It could be either of those three, whoever is available.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Vinex says Ziki versus Tuta.
Ziggy versus True Touch, good prediction, good prediction. I'm not gonna reveal. Alright, map is Optimizer.
Completely honest, I think Bonif is going to play for Poland.
Alright.
Though I wish it were Koget. I want to see the rematch.
And it is a rematch.
All right, cool. So we got Ziki, the yellow Zerg in the bottom left. Once again versus Bonith, the grayish, bluish Protoss in the bottom right. All right. So the rematch is on the same map, right?
Yeah, this is the same as match 1. Also busy between these two players.
Okay, that first game was really cool, really close. So I'm quite excited to see the rematch, considering it's the ace match. So, all right.
And the spawns are basically the same, horizontal spawns on Optimizer. They swapped positions, but that won't affect the game at all. And Bonf is doing the same thing.
Okay. The Zerg has opened with, was it an overpull?
We see the Overlord, but nothing quite yet.
No, I mean the first game. I think it
Oh yeah,
was an
overpull. It was overpull.
I'm not sure. Okay.
He made 6 lings right off the bat, and Bonif responded by just playing safe, making Zealots non-stop from 1 gate. He's also going to scout Ziggy first. And there's the overpull versus 1 gate, 9 gate from Bonif.
Vanek says here rush of 11 zealot speed is very strong.
And there's the probe getting that scout, sees that pool timing. Drone going out to scout because you always scout with a drone. You want 9 on minerals, then you scout with 1, and then you make the expansion with the other.
Alright.
Oh, small fight here. First Zealot in production for Bonif. And well, looks like the fight was won by the probe. The drone is forced to retreat. He has to be careful. Bonif is chasing.
Oh, that drone is gonna go down. Just 1 HP left.
He's gonna make the gas, but Bonif can.
Oh,
Oh, he's gonna kill that. He's gonna kill it.
He did.
He's hungry. He's chasing that probe. That drone. And he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it.
Oh, very good drill there. Oh my god.
2 HP, 2 HP. It's still under threat. He has to be so careful. And Bonif, I mean,
You see how he tried to bait it for a second? He tried to attack the probe with the hurt with a with a red drone, and then he went back. He tried to bait it so the Zerglings would catch it.
very.
But
I mean, that's a
Bonnet
lot
didn't
of.
fall for the trap.
That was a lot of action early on, and we see Bonif doing the same thing. He's gonna go 3 Zealots and then Nexus. He sees the amount of lings that Ziki committed, so this is wise. And he's leaving the Zealots out in the front. You want 4 slowlings per Zealot, and if they have speed, then it's 3 Zerglings. So we see 3 Zealots out at the front. How many Zerglings do we have from
Right.
Ziggy? Only 8. So
Yep.
Bonif has a moment here where he can attack. Nice first link getting picked off right away. And Ziggy's in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, a lot of pressure being put on Ziggy's base here, and now Bonnet is just bypassing the natural. Alright, will he get behind the minerals? He doesn't.
Curious
Ah,
going
bit-
for the pull.
I'm a bit impressed he's decided to hit the spawning pool.
And
I thought he
Ziggy,
would go straight behind the naturals, behind the minerals.
on this
Those
map,
are sadly being picked off rather easily.
so he gets 1
Okay,
drone
well-
there.
Well, it was decent. I mean, he forced quite some more Zerglings to be made, but basically, he got just 1 drone with three Zealots. I was expecting a little bit more.
One thing is the minerals behind the minerals on this map. It's actually not like regular maps. You can't just plug it with 1 Zealot.
Yeah.
But he could have still gotten a better engagement than getting surrounded. And we see Bonif already
Yeah.
transitioning out. He's getting that Cybernetics core. Ziggy did go lair again. And it's this isn't so common to go lair against 1 gate because Zerg ends up very poor after making a ton of links. And it's hard to tech up. And we see lair's done, and he's barely gonna have enough for that Spire, just barely. And Bonif getting that full scout. Bonif
He might just want to go for muted.
And
in that
we do
case,
see the Spire.
I don't think he would care so much about his drone count if it's going for muted. He doesn't need that many.
Well, we saw in the first game, Bonif went 2 Stargates, and let's see if he's gonna. I doubt he'll do the same thing again, same thing twice, but we do see him getting +1 on the Corsairs, and the Stargate is about halfway done. But it's not gonna be 2 Stargate. We already see +1 ground being researched for Bonif.
Yeah, +1 ground and +1 air. Okay, no, Citadel of Hadun. No second Stargate this time.
Bonif has the wall completely plugged. He's getting that second cannon. This is very similar, I think, position economically for Bonif. He's mining out those extra patches. He's going to have access to that 3rd base. Ziki, in the meantime, is getting a 4th hatchery and a Hydroden. So this is actually a pretty fast Hydroden. Normally you get it after the 5th hatchery. Ziki is already getting that. And we see he's just making Scourge.
I bet Bonnet is going to repeat his mass zealot style, considering you have those extra minerals to mine right there on top of the Nexus of the Natural that you wouldn't have normally. So that allowed Bonnet to go for a lot of gateways very early on.
Alright, we see the
And
5th
I'm really
hatch.
expecting him to do the same thing here.
We see the 5th hatch from Ziki. And Bonif playing safe, getting an anti-Scourge cannon by his Stargate.
Hello, Caster Muse, welcome.
Welcome, Caster Muse. How was BSL? I guess that ended. And there's Hydra speed from Ziki, and his wall is a little bit funky because the fourth hatchery didn't complete and didn't extend creep out. So this faster Hydra then couldn't be made where you would want it to make a sim city.
Right.
But everything looks standard. The only thing is Ziki's fifth hatch and his evolution chamber are pretty late. But he has the same amount of drones you would want before you start making Hydras. You did get Scourge out to deal with the Corsairs, so everything looking normal. And here we go, Bonnet finally moving out, but this is going to be slightly slower. He only has one gateway, other gateways being added now. I still don't see any Templars being made. So he's going to have to be careful.
Yeah, I think Bonnet is just gonna throw away these Zealots. I mean, I think he actually should, like, try go north or something. If he goes straight for the natural, those Zealots are going to be picked off very easily.
Yeah, we see Ziki doesn't have a ton of drones at his third base. And he's supply blocked now because of the Corsairs. Overlord speed is quite late. And like you said, Bonif is going to top left. And there's not a ton of
Dark
units
Templar
here.
there,
Oh, I didn't even see this.
He's going to engage at the same time with the Corsairs, but still is not going to be able to achieve a whole lot. There's reinforcements coming from the south. The first Overlord does go down, and there's a third one, so even though the second one might get picked off, the third one is going down as well. Well, it's a Dark Templar alive. Yes, there it is. Okay, he's got 2 kills, but the drones just barely escape.
That was actually very well played by Bonif. Bonif ran the DT all the way to the left so it couldn't be targeted. He knew he had a window there, and this is very awkward for Ziki. Now the Corsairs are cutting off Overlords that are being sent.
I even lost vision of it myself, so yeah, very sneaky move there. Waiting until the Overlords were done before moving it back into action.
And now the Overlord finally pops out, but DT even manages to get one more drone, and look at the supply block from Ziki.
Yeah.
And Bonif being able to get away with only 2 cannons. This is a dream scenario for Protoss. You throw away those Zealots normally, then you have to worry about the counterattack, but because of that one DT and those Corsairs, he was able to keep Ziki back.
Yeah, absolutely. He has already 2 Storms ready and a third one soon to be ready. Okay, first Storm hasn't killed any Hydras, but this will slow down the pressure. Okay, now throwing out a couple extra cannons.
But these cannons are perfectly fine. Bonif already made the 7 additional gateways in his main. Bonif moving out there, wanted to get that +1 armor, but I think Ziki was targeting the forge. And behind this, Ziki is droning up, but he has to be careful. Look at these Corsairs menacingly placed. These Overlords at top left, completely exposed.
Yeah. Well, the Corsairs are very far away at the moment, and Ziki is pulling back. So those Overlords are going to be fine for the time being.
And third base from Bonif as well. Another feature of this map. Bonif again taking advantage of it. The easy to defend third base.
Ziki getting ready to take a fourth now. She's waiting. Okay, there it goes down. 9 o'clock.
And Ziki is already transitioning into lurkers. You see that big gas count he has, and that's not because he has been mining a ton of gas. It's because he spent so much on getting Overlords.
Right. Yeah, it's a bunch of gas, really.
And some nice Hydra movement. Snipes 1 High Templar. Looks like he stopped moving them. No.
Oh, they got stuck. No, it's alright.
Lurker drop. I don't think it's going to be lurker drop. There's too many Corsairs. There's very hard to... Oh, has to be careful. And again, it's going to be hard for Ziki to defend if he decides to defend like this. You don't...
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He doesn't have enough Hydras to make them into lurkers and also defend at the same time from the Corsairs. Definitely, he'll have to stay on Hydras. At least most of his army has to stay as Hydras, even though he has the gas for making a bunch of lurkers.
He's making lurkers now, but he's gonna have to defend 2 locations, and it's gonna be hard. Bonif is on, let's see, 4, 7, 8 gateways, 9 gateways, double forge upgrading, and I like this. This is something you don't see that often. Bonif already has Reaver tech. So he's gonna have Reavers to his composition, and then Reavers are so good against lurkers. They're also good against Hydra, but primarily against lurkers, because lurkers burrow, they can't move, and they're outranged by Reavers.
Ivaniak says lurker drop. Well, I don't think so. I mean, it would be quite dangerous if those Corsairs engage the overlords that would be dropping in the main. That would be super risky for the Zerg at this point.
And Bonif is very patient here. His robotics is finally making a shuttle. Oh, he's moving forward, but there's so many lurkers, and they're nicely spread. Won't be damaged by storm. And I'm looking at Ziki. What does he have at his other base? There's actually not much here. There's only 2 lurkers and like 10 hydras. This is tough. This is tough. This is looking very similar to game 1. So we have a burrow there, and Bonif can clean this up easily if he realizes it. Ziki's setting up.
I think Ziki realized in time that he has to move north with his main army, and there he goes. I think he's just waiting to get into a better flanking position along with his northern army. But Bonif just decides to retreat.
Ziki does have +2, and then again, nice burrow lurkers.
Oh, those lurkers are too close together, and the high temper goes down. So, very nice move there. But if he had landed a storm over those 4 lurkers that are together, that would have been quite painful there for Ziki.
Bonif got caught off guard there, but I think Bonif is ready to go now. I think he was waiting for 2-1 to finish. It just finished. Weapons 2 and armor 1, and look at his natural. Look at Bonif's natural.
Yeah.
3 robotics. This is definitely not standard, but he's taking a 4th as well, and he's gonna have a ton of Reavers.
I guess he's going to try to make a massive drop in the main at some point.
I think this is more to combat the army with just Reaver, Dragoon, Zealot, High Templar, and that's a very strong army at this point in the game. We have Bonif with the Corsairs left at his 3rd base, and it looks like, no, he's just gonna move in. Does he have enough here? Looks like Ziki's trying to set up, trying to flank this army. Doesn't have any lurkers left. He also doesn't have any gas.
Yeah, Ziki really low on his army count. Look at his supplies. It's really low compared to Bonif's.
And he's storming the flank, and this is easily dealt with. And I'm just waiting for Bonif's reinforcements to arrive.
Amazing storms, both north and south of the army.
And here we go, first shuttle coming in.
Ziki's trying to transition to some links, but they got no upgrades at all. So they're not going to do a whole lot. Okay, here we see the Reavers in action. Oh, nice storm there, combined with the Scarabs. I think this is going to be too much. We see some flanking units from Ziki from the north, but it's definitely not going to be enough. Too late and too little.
Ziki just now getting melee upgrades and crack, but Bonif hitting just before that finishes. Just a very strong attack again by Bonif, and very hard for Zerg to defend.
Yeah, apparently really Bonif didn't even need those Reavers at all. He would have like just won straight up with gateway units and GG.
And
alright,
Poland wins 4-3.
Very nice.
Bonif winning another ace match. And with that, we are done for today. Tune in on Tuesday for the Spanish cast. It's going to be ultra casting. Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, Strudel, for accompanying me today in the cast again.
Thank you for the invitation, SeriOsity.
Alright, and that'll be all. See you all next time.
See you guys. I hope you had a good time.
Si te gustó este video, no olvides darle like Y si aún eres nuevo y aún no te suscribes, te invitamos a hacerlo y a darle clic a la campanita. Recuerda que todos los días viernes estaremos subiendo nuevas guías y nuevo material, todo en relación con Starcraft remasterizado. Hasta la próxima, amigos.